Hey everyone, it's me. So today has been a really lazy day for me. I've only really had to go to one class and I've kind of just been playing video games all morning, but I decided to make a video even though my hair is deceased after yesterday's debacle. So I've been in college for a couple months now and I haven't really even thought much about like, oh my god, I'm here at college since I got here. Like no longer a big deal. Like this is just my life now. But I remember being a senior in high school and really freaking out about it. Like literally, like I would think about it all the time. I'm like, oh my god, what if my roommate kills me? What if I fail all my classes? What if I'm a failure and I have to drop out and become a hobo? I feel like there's so much like hype built around college that like when you finally get here, it's like that's it. I decided that today I was gonna make a video like kind of just like talking all about college and just like some tips and tricks maybe for people who are watching who are still in high school. Probably the only people who are gonna see this are my friends who are in college, but you know what? I'm gonna do what I want because this is my channel. I feel like the biggest thing that people really worry about is their roommate. I know that that was like my biggest thing. I'm kind of like an introverted person. The idea of living with a stranger for like a couple months seemed pretty scary at first. But honestly, if you have a good roommate, honestly, you could become like best friends with your roommate. Here are some tips if you're going into college, if you're thinking about getting a roommate. I think the biggest #1 thing is to just talk to them. They're another person too, and they also live here. Like this is your room, but it's their room too. So you kind of have to like think about that, and like when you do things, you know, you probably don't want to like throw a bunch of trash and beer cans all over the floor because your roommate walks in, they're like, what the hell are you doing? It's really all about, if I wanted to have a party in here, I would be like, hey, Skylar, can I do this? And if she says yeah, cool. If she says no, you have to respect that, you know? Usually when you give that out, they give it back. So it's kind of like a respect thing. Like respect is really big. I think one thing that a ton of people really worry about is if you're a slob, if you're gonna be living with a neat freak, or if you're a neat freak, if you're gonna be living with a slob. Honestly, I feel like it's pretty manageable. Like, I'll show you me and Skylar's room. Let me show you this. Okay, so here's Skylar's side of the room. You can see it's very neat and nice. That's why I use it as the backdrop, because I live like this. I'm surprised she hasn't murdered me. Like, I know me and Skylar's living situation isn't really like super extreme, because I know when we first moved in, we were kind of like, a little mess is okay, but if you start leaving like food and shit around, like there's gonna be a problem. So we kind of, you know, we talked about it and we like kind of deemed what was okay, even though she's a lot neater than I am. Also, making compromises is so freaking important. Like literally, I've already had friends who have had fights because they don't know how to compromise. Just for instance, if I wanted to bring somebody in here to hang out like all morning, I don't really want to get in her way because, like I said, this is her room too. So I would let her know, and maybe she would be like, okay, I'll get breakfast at this time as long as I can come back this time. Just plan shit out. If you don't plan shit out, you're gonna have a bad time because they're probably gonna walk into something that you don't want them walking in on. I think another big thing is not to freak out if something happens. Like, just a cute story about my roommate. We have a fish. His name is Daddy. Well, I have a fish, his Daddy. He's like communal, whatever. I'll show you Daddy. There's Daddy. He's just swimming about. Turns out while I was editing this vlog, I realized that the entire story about Daddy and my last point about roommates got completely cut out. So I will just say this. Skylar almost fed my fish to death. Be nice to your roommate. Don't freak out. And just be a good person, man. And now we're gonna cut to the only bit of footage I have left, which is just me talking about classes. I hate my whole life. There'll be a better vlog tomorrow. Those professors tend to let you out early or don't really have hard-hitting lectures that you have to like scribble down the notes like at lightning speed to keep up. But it can also be kind of bad because like you paid for that class like to get educated in that subject and you're not really getting it. You might need to do a little more work outside of the class. Honestly, it's all up to how you look at it. I honestly love my professors who kind of take it easy, but that's because I'm lazy. If you're a lot more inclined, I would definitely suggest looking up your professor on like Rate My Professor, and if you see anything that says like easy A or really relaxed, like maybe that's not the class for you. But if that's something that you're into and you're just like really like excited about the prospect of an easy A, look into it too and check out those kinds of professors. I think another thing that colleges are really big on is trying to make you go to like the after hours like events. Like we have calendars in our rooms that have like all these events that like our school is hosting. A lot of them seem kind of lame, but a lot of them seem kind of cool too. We've been to a few, and some of them, especially in the beginning of the semester, were like really awesome. Like we had midnight at the rec center where like they had these blow up things and a rock wall and you could go swimming in the pool and all sorts of stuff. Make sure you pay attention to that sort of thing, especially if you have classes where it's a requirement to go to them, like I have. Make sure you pay attention to them, and if you see one that kind of sparks your interest, like maybe get a couple friends to go. I know we have like movie nights here, we have laser light shows in the planetarium, we've got all sorts of cool shit, and then you've got stuff that's like Money Matters with Edith P. Gertrude that maybe you don't want to go to, unless that's your thing. If you want to go to Money Matters with Edith P. Gertrude, you go right ahead. You do you. The really awesome thing about college that high schools don't tell you is how much free time you really have. High school, every day, 6 a.m., you get on that smelly ass bus, get into school, and you work for 8 fucking hours, and then you go home and you work for 4 more hours, and then you go to bed and repeat 5 days a week. College is nothing like that, unless you are taking like these high octane intense classes because you want to be a doctor, lawyer, rocket surgeon. You're gonna have free time. Depending on the way you schedule your classes, you could have your mornings free, you could have your afternoons free, you could have your nights free. My university actually made my schedule for me. My first semester, I need to work on making my second semester schedule. They put me in a ton of these 8 a.m.s, and at first I was pissed because I was like, oh. When I got into the routine, I realized it was so nice waking up, getting class immediately out of the way, and having the rest of the day to myself. Like literally, I've been lazing around here for like 4 hours. It's 1 o'clock. If I had class right now, I'd probably like throw up. But whatever you pick, you're gonna have time where you're not studying or cramming or anything like that. You're gonna have time to just focus on things that you actually want to do. High school is the last time you're gonna be forced to work like that for an education, and honestly, it's amazing. Unless you're really going big and that's what you like to work all the time because you got big plans for the future, and more power to you. If you're just a normal student like me, and like probably most of the people on this campus, you're gonna have the time to focus on things you really actually want to do, and that is great, especially if you're an undecided major. You will love it. That's really it for like the whole basics of college. If you guys have any questions for me, put it down in the comments. If you have a suggestion for a future video, put it down in the comments. I'm gonna try and make a video every day. Hopefully I don't get off track. Just a silly video every day if you guys want to hear me talk. So bye guys.